It's a rare moment the jazz is up in the air, but it's up in the air. So that there is a little water leak. And this water leak hasn't started long ago, but see it come from there. There we are. So it's coming from there, and it's coming from in there as well. So I need to take this off. I need to seal the threads up on there. I think it's actually dripping down there. I need to seal it all up with Honda Bond and various other items, and then hopefully that'll stop it leaking. It's not a massive leak, but it's annoying. It started about a month ago. Hasn't leaked at all, weirdly. All of a sudden it decided it wanted to. I can't get them bolts any tighter that go into it, so that's as tight as that's going to get. Can't get that nut any tighter there, so that's as tight as that's going to get. And I'm pretty sure I can take that back out, but I need to seal it up with sealer, and that should stop that leaking. The top one we did do, but it looks like that's leaking as well, possibly. So yeah, take it all out, seal it all up, put it back on. That's the plan. And it's only got water in it at the minute because, well, basically the coolant's pretty much all gone. So it's summertime, it'll be alright. So we're going to do that. That should do. That's probably the first fault it's had, really, apart from the idle control valve knackering, but that was an easy fix, so hopefully this will be as well. I do have the original thermostat for it, so I might dig that out and see what angle that points at. If I can use that, I might use that instead, because I can guarantee that'll seal okay. Just need to find it. That's not the leak, I'm just letting it drain out. If that was the leak, I'd be a bit worried. I don't think the engine would last to the end of the road. The next thing we do is, because we don't have a dashboard water temperature gauge at all, it just has the blue warning for the Honda Jazz dashboard, which nothing weighs up to, so the blue warning is always on for cold. I've got this, which generally goes on motorbikes. It's like a little adhesive little screen, and that's the sensor for it. And this is a 30mm adapter either side. Now I've got 28mm one side and 32 the other, so I'm hoping 30 is going to clamp down alright. It should do, because it's a good lip, that it's a good couple of mil lips. It should work alright. And I've Honda bonded this sensor in and PTFE taped it, so that should hopefully not leak as well. This is just an experiment. Obviously if this doesn't work, I'll just put the joiner back in, and then I need to get a proper union for that, because it's an ever so slightly different thread. That to that, slightly loose, but I think that's going to work okay. We'll see. Yeah, so I just need to wait for that to finish draining its water out, and then I can take the thermostat off, and then can start to seal that up as well again with Honda Bond HT silicone liquid gasket. Yes, that should sort that out. Feel the speed. Interesting. Yeah, so the only problem I've got with this sensor is that there is the wiring for it. Like I say, it's for a motorbike normally. It's incredibly short, so I need to extend that basically, because that's not going to be long enough for what I need. And it just runs off to like a live on earth there, and you just plug it in, and that's your sensor there. So dead straightforward, and that will give us a water temp on the dash that we'll be able to read to see what we're doing. Just because I'm a little bit worried with that having a water leak that I may have missed it, because there's nothing to tell me what temperature it is. So that looks like that's stopped draining now. I'll get that thermostat off and then start to seal it up. Don't know if you can pick this out in the film, but if you look on that side there, the rubber seal's kind of squashed. Oh, you can kind of see it there. See what I say? Up on one end and down on the other, as if it's been not seated correctly. So I'd say that's the problem, and that's probably why it's been leaking. It's not been sealing properly on that side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to PTFE tape around those threads, and I'm going to chuck a load of sealer around that seal, a load of Honda Bond, and then nip it back up again. And hopefully that'll be it. It doesn't appear to actually been leaking out the body of the thermostat, the swivel part. It just seems to have been coming out of here. When you actually look at it, the body part looks like you can see where it's basically dripped onto it, coming sort of like run down there and onto it. So I'd say it's actually been that's the bother. With a bit of luck it is anyway. I can't use the original thermostat because it won't fit back on. It's angled differently to what I need. So yeah, so hopefully that's it. Right, I want to squeeze all the sealer out, so put it back on. Let's hope that works. See that, it's pushed a bit of water out. I did actually dry all that as well, never mind. Hopefully you'll still see it, but there. So we'll leave that until probably tomorrow before I put some water in it, just to make sure it's alright. So that's that job done. Now I can look at the top and put that joiner in, and then try and see if I've got any extra wiring, because I need to extend it. Right, so it turns out unexpectedly that this side here, it just ain't going in the 28mm pipe. That side in the 32 is obviously going to be no problem, and it would have clamped down just fine, but that side there, it's just impossible to get in. So I've given up on that thought, and I've removed the sensor. So we have a K20 coolant adapter, which you can see there, and it has a grub screw in there where that hole is. Can you see that on there? Zoom in a bit there, and that is the exact same thread as that for the coolant sensor. Perfect. So I can replace the reducer that I had in there, which is that one there, which I'm mash taken off, but it'll be fine. And I can put that into there and then just run the wire straight to it. Makes it a bit easier. So I'll pop a bit of sealer on this as well, again just to make sure that it's not going to leak. I'll put a bit of PTFE on the threads actually, and then screw that in and then join the wires together. It's actually probably easier than it was going to be, so that's alright. So yeah, wasn't expecting that I couldn't get them pipes together, because I've fitted smaller pipes onto bigger things loads of times, even with silicone spray or anything on. It just wasn't going to work. I don't know if it's because the pipe's so short, but maybe that's what it was, I don't know. But anyway, this is going to work just fine, hopefully, so we'll try it this version instead. Right, so before we put it all together properly, we've tested that it works. It's just wired up loosely into the cigarette lighter adapter. I'm going to join these two wires obviously into those wires properly, and then plug that back in so I can use a cigarette lighter. That must be like the temperature that is outside, 22 degrees today, it's pretty nice. Right, and I don't know where I'm going to mount this, but it's going to be a temporary mount to start with, until I find a place that I want to keep it. But as long as it's there for now, because it's summertime and I don't want the car to overheat, just because it's having that little water leak, because I had no idea what the temperature was. But if I can mount that somewhere so I can kind of see it, that'll do for now. So I'll just tidy all this back up, put all the centre console back together, and then we'll work on the wiring and where I'm going to run it to. I'm hopefully going to try and get it, well, I don't know, I'd like it to go, I don't know, somewhere visible really. I mean, I'd like it to come up here, but I don't think I've got enough wire to do that for now. So as long as I can get it, maybe stick it on like that part of the centre console there, so if I glance down I can see it for now. That'd probably do actually, and it wouldn't really be in the way, so I'll probably do that for starters, and then at least I've got a temperature gauge then, so at least I can see what's happening, and then I can check to see if the water leak's fixed as well. Yeah, 23 this car reckons, and that's saying 22, so yeah, 21, 22, so not bad. Maybe it does work. So yeah, so get a sticky pad. I'll just sort of stick it there for now, because it came with sticky pads, and then it's not like the most ideal because it's not there, but I can glance at it until I do it properly. This is obviously just like I'm sorting all the wiring out in this car, making sure everything works properly. I know it's been a few months since we finished, but I'm making sure everything works properly before we kind of neaten everything up properly, because I mean I've still not tidied away the K-Pro wiring. Engine bay is actually not that bad, that's alright, but there's various things inside this car that need to come out, like there's all these random wires that from previous things, like it had a camera on the windscreen and it had a microphone, it had all sorts of stuff that it's not connected to anything anymore, and it had undercar neons, and all this wiring needs to come out. I need to trace it all back, find it all and chop it all and neaten it all up and basically sort it all out. So when I'm doing all that is when I'll neaten up all the other wiring. This is just basically because it's well, it's June now and it's kind of summertime and it's getting hot, and I can't tell if the car's overheating or not because I don't have a temperature gauge. So this will fix that, because I will have one, although it's not as neat as I would like it, but it will do for now, and that's the main thing. I possibly could stick it anywhere within the binnacle. I think it's called a binnacle, isn't it? The speedo dial. Yeah, so I could probably mount it somewhere up and around there. I just need to extend the wire a bit further because I haven't really got enough, but it's not that bad. It'll do where it is, so at least it works. That's the main thing. And now we need to fill up with water and check I've got no leaks as well. That's the next thing to do. Get on. Doesn't look too bad now it's stuck on, actually. It's pretty good. I can see that quite easily. It's not like a... Yeah, that'll do fine. It's not bad. That'll do. Wicked. you go, so the temperature's going up on the gauge, which is good. I'm just going to take this for a quick drive. I've poured about 3.5 litres of water in it, and then I'll come back and check it for leaks. So far so good anyway. So I'm still going up. We've been for a drive, I'll go and check it for leaks, but yeah, it's working alright. It's going up like it should, which is pretty good. It's actually easy to see when you're driving, it's not too bad. Just glance down, it's there. No leaks.